The once strong and vibrant U.S. middle class continues to shrink at a very brisk pace. Millions of Americans are falling down the middle class ladder as the cost of living rises and incomes steadily drop. The decline of the American middle class has greatly accelerated over the past decade, and conditions have been particularly detrimental over the past 2 years. As more and more of our production is outsourced to foreign countries, the declining number of manufacturing jobs has kept a sizable portion of the U.S. population from entering the middle class. Meanwhile, the rate of inflation is still surging, but wages are not keeping up. To make things worse, an overwhelming amount of debt is choking the life out of more than half of American households. As the price of housing, energy, and daily necessities skyrockets with each passing day, more Americans are pushed out of their comfortable middle-class lives and into poverty. The number of middle-class jobs continues to go down at a staggering pace, and significantly fewer people can afford to buy a home in middle-class neighborhoods. In contrast, the number of people that are forced to turn to the government for financial assistance continues to go up. In essence, as increasingly more workers can't afford to make ends meet, America is getting poorer as a nation. When the cost of basic necessities rises much faster than incomes do, that means our overall wealth is getting smaller. At the same time, a larger share of wealth is becoming increasingly concentrated at the very top of the income scale. This is not how capitalism is supposed to work, and it's not healthy for America. The numbers we're about to report expose why the U.S. middle class is disappearing right in front of our eyes. Now, we've got a lot to cover in this video, so please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Without further ado, here are 30 statistics that show that the middle class is dying as we enter 2022. Number 1. Today, only 54.4% of young Americans between the ages of 16 and 24 have jobs, while only 69.9% of young adults between the ages of 24 and 29 are currently employed. Amongst both groups, 73% of jobs are low paid. Number 2. Currently, there are 262 million working-age people in America, but only about 161 million of them are working, making a participation rate of just 61.1%. Number 3. According to Career Builder, roughly 73% of American companies are struggling to hire more employees in 2022. Number 4. Today, 70% of jobs don't support middle-class lifestyles and offer less than $35,000 a year. Number 5. According to Forbes, approximately 42.5 million Americans, or 13.4% of the U.S. population, live below the poverty line. And since 2020, at least 131 million experience some level of financial insecurity. Number 6. Right now, over 15 million Americans aged 65 plus, which accounts for 1 in 3, are financially insecure. And 14.8 million are near poverty. Meanwhile, 1 in 6 children lives in poverty in the U.S., which accounts for about 11.9 million impoverished children across the nation. Number 7. In 1984, the median net worth of households led by someone 65 or older was 10 times larger than the median net worth of households led by someone 35 or younger. Today, the median net worth of households led by someone 65 or older is about $521,200, while the the median net worth of households led by someone 35 or younger is a dismal $13,900, which makes the net worth of households led by boomers' households over 37 times larger than the net worth of households led by millennials and Gen Zers. Number 8. Since 2021, workers' wages rose on average by 4.2%. On the other hand, inflation has soared 7.5%, which means that workers' earnings have actually eroded by 3.3% over the past 12 months. Number 9. Although the total value of household real estate in the U.S. has increased $5.8 trillion in 2021 to a total of $141 trillion, most of that wealth growth has been concentrated amongst the wealthy, with the middle class only owning 35% of households in America, and another 30% of middle-class workers being completely priced out of the market. Number 10. Many formerly great manufacturing cities are turning into ghost towns. For instance, just over the past 2 years, the population of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania has lost 302,971 people. In Ohio, the city of Dayton has lost over 15.3% of its population since the year 2000. Number 11. In 1970, consumer debt in the United States was standing at $430 billion. Today, it stands at $15.6 trillion, an absolute record high. Number 12. Since 1913, the number of pages of federal tax rules and regulations has skyrocketed by 18,000%. While the wealthy can pay lawyers and accountants to find ways to avoid taxes, most of those in the middle class cannot count on the same privilege. Number 13. The number of Americans that fell into poverty over the past 24 months was 3.3 million, a new all-time high. Of those, at least 45% are currently living in extreme poverty. Number 14. In 1963, the poverty line was defined by an income of $3,128 for a family of 4. Before the health crisis, the same family's poverty line stood at $26,172, with the estimated amount of money needed for a family of 4 to get by standing at $58,000. Number 15. From 2008 to 2020, over 443,000 U.S. businesses filed for bankruptcy. Number 16. Back in 1980, less than 30% of all jobs in the United States were low-income jobs. Today, almost 50% of all jobs in the U.S. are low-income jobs, with 46% of all workers between the ages of 18 to 64 currently employed in low-wage positions. Number 17. Most Americans are struggling to make ends meet. The median usual weekly earnings of a full-time employee in the United States in 2020 was $752.48 after taxes. However, almost half of Americans earn $500 or less per week. Number 18. Food prices continue to rise uncontrollably. The price of beef is up 23% over the past year. The price of eggs is up 12.5%. The price of poultry is up 10.4% compared to a year ago. Number 19. Electricity bills in the United States have risen faster than the overall rate of inflation for the past decade. Only in the past 12 months, electricity bills went up by an average of 20% all across the country. Number 20. Gasoline prices just hit the highest level in 8 years, hitting $3.47 last week. Number 21. If inflation was measured the exact same way that it was measured back in 1980, the rate of inflation in the United States today would be nearing 15%. Number 22. In 2021, 47 million American workers quit their jobs, a phenomenon called the Great Resignation. Right now, the U.S. workforce is still short on roughly 10 million workers, with the vast majority of job openings, about 67%, for low-wage jobs. Number 23. The total student loan debt in the United States has surpassed the $1 trillion mark. It's already nearing $2 trillion, standing at $1.6 trillion, according to the latest data. 42.3 million middle-class Americans currently hold student loan debt. Number 24. Over the past year, there was a 25% increase in demand for food stamps. Number 25. Right now, nearly 42 million Americans need food assistance. Number 26. According to the USDA, more than 38 million people, including 12 million children in the United States, are food insecure. Number 27. The housing market is currently short on 400,000 homes for potential middle-class homebuyers. Today, there's only one affordable listing for every 65 households, according to NAR. Number 28. According to a study conducted by Pew Research Center, the American middle class is steadily losing ground to upper-income families. While middle-class incomes rose 6%, upper-income households had a 9% gain in their yearly incomes over the past 6 years. Number 29. In 1970, the median income of upper-class households was 2.2 times the income of middle-class households. Now, upper-class household incomes are 7.3 times the average middle-class household income. Number 30. In the United States today, the 400 richest people have a wealth larger than the bottom 90% combined. Sadly, this list could go on and on. There are many other statistics that reveal the rapid decay of the U.S. middle class. The U.S. economy has been dramatically declining over the past few years, and economists say that trend has just begun. There's a perfect storm of events threatening to spell much more trouble in 2022 as our politicians and policymakers scramble to fight against inflation and spark chaos on financial markets. At the end of the day, the ones who are going to get hurt the most are the bottom 90% of the population, with many more of us falling into poverty, facing financial and food insecurity at a time when the price of everything is spiraling out of control. We are now on the path to another major financial crisis, but most people still don't know the amount of pain that awaits us. The truth is that our economy will slowly choke and die as the number of middle-class Americans needed to support it continues to decrease. Unfortunately, where we are now is as good as it gets. It's all downhill from here. We should all start planning what to do to make it through the collapse that is ahead.